going to show you the 10 different reasons why people choose Medicare supplemental plans, frankly, why they love their supplemental plans. And so we're going to look at these in great detail. So the number one reason that people choose Medicare supplemental plans, or we could say the number one feature of supplemental plans, is there will be no surprises. No surprises whatsoever. In other words, when you choose a supplemental plan, you don't have to worry about there being healthcare surprises or financial surprises. When you have a supplemental plan, you don't have to worry about losing your doctor, your specialist, or the hospital you'd like to go to. You don't have to worry about losing the coverage. It is a lifetime policy. You don't have to worry about losing control over your healthcare decisions. It's your doctor, Medicare, and you that make all the decisions, no insurance company. You don't have to worry about financial surprise. In other words, you'll never get some type of a large bill that you weren't expecting whatsoever. You don't pay as you go because we know exactly what we're going to pay. We know exactly what it's going to cost us. We can actually budget when we have a supplemental plan. So that's number one reason, no surprises whatsoever. Now, reason or feature number two of supplemental plans, why people choose these, is because it gives them the opportunity to have limited liability. Why? Because they can transfer that liability to an insurance company. They also have limited out-of-pocket expenses. Okay, now in order to understand what I mean by this out-of-pocket expenses, we have to first understand how original Medicare works. Now, remember, Medicare is broken up into two parts. Part A and Part B. Part A is pretty much everything inpatient type services, hospital and skilled nursing. Part B is pretty much everything outpatient and doctor related services. So in each of these systems of Medicare, we have liabilities. We have gaps in our coverage. Medicare pays, but they don't pay anything 100% other than preventive. So let's look at the gaps of Medicare. So when we are using Part A, that means that we've gone to the hospital and it's going to cost us a deductible. That deductible this year is $1,556. Now that deductible covers me for a hospital stay anywhere between 1 to 60 days. So it doesn't matter whether I'm in 1 day, 2 days, 10 or 60 days, I have to pay that deductible. Now that deductible is not an annual deductible. It can occur more than once in a year. If I'm in a hospital and I pay my deductible and then I'm discharged and I'm out of the hospital more than 60 days and then after 60 days I go back to the hospital, then I will be charged a second deductible. Okay, so that deductible does occur more than once in a year for some people. But that's all I have to pay out of pocket for the first 60 days in the hospital. Now, if I'm in the hospital longer than 60 continuous days, what happens is now Medicare says days 61 to 90, I'm responsible for a daily copay. This year, that's $389 a day. So month 3, if I was in the full time, it cost me out of pocket $12,000. If I'm still in the hospital after that day of 90 days, now I'm in 91 days up to 150 days, Medicare doubles the copay, and now I have to pay a daily copay of $788. That means that month 4 and month 5 are going to cost me roughly $25,000 each of those months. These are called extended stays. They're very rare, but as you can see, when this occurs, they're very, very expensive. Okay, then the last gap on the A of Medicare is for skilled nursing facility. Now, skilled nursing facility, this is when people need intensive rehab, maybe after a stroke or after a hip replacement, or maybe after some kind of an injury or accident or a fall, and they have to go to skilled nursing. So here's the way Medicare works. Medicare says the first 20 days in the skilled nursing facility will cost you nothing as long as you were in the hospital at least 3 days prior. Okay, doesn't cost you a penny. Now, if I'm not in the hospital 3 days or more, Medicare doesn't pay anything for skilled nursing. But as long as I had that 72-hour stay or longer, there's no cost the first 20 days. But after that, if I'm still in need of care, days 21 to 100, Medicare charges me a daily copay. This year, that's $194.50 a day. Average right now for the Medicare recipients about 30 to 35 days in skilled nursing. First 20 is on Medicare. After that, you have a daily copay. And here's my point. These amounts of money, my deductible, my extended hospital copays, and my extended skilled nursing copays are my responsibility. That's your liability. That's on the A of Medicare. Now let's talk about the B of Medicare. Medicare Part B is the outpatient side of Medicare and all doctor-related services. That means doctors that take care of you on an outpatient basis or even on an inpatient basis. In other words, they take care of you in the hospital. Hospitalists, surgeons, anesthesiologists, those doctors are going to be paid through Medicare B. So on the B, we have a deductible. This year, that deductible is $233. Now, fortunately, this deductible is not like the A deductible. It happens once a year. It's a calendar year, and that deductible resets every January. If you come into Medicare in July, they're not going to prorate the deductible. It's very small. You'll have to meet the deductible from July to December, and then you'll see that reset in January. So once we've met that deductible, that takes us to our second gap, and this is called coinsurance. Medicare on the B side is what we call an 80-20 plan. Medicare pays 80 and you pay 20% of the bill. The problem with your 20% coinsurance is it never ever stops. There's no limit to that unless you get insurance. And then the last gap on Medicare B is called an excess charge. Now, this is something that only doctors can do. Specialists, primary care doctors, any kind of doctor, a surgeon can do this. And this is when they actually add 15% to the Medicare approved amount. So they don't accept Medicare as payment in full. They add 15%. And when they do it, you're responsible to pay for it. And so we have three gaps on the B. We have a deductible, small one, 20% coinsurance, and a 15% excess charge. And so what we have the opportunity to do is to take these gaps and we can transfer the liability of those gaps to an insurance company. And so depending upon what letter you buy will determine how much liability you're transferring and how much you're going to retain. And so right now the top three plans are the Plan F, the Plan G, and the Plan N. The Plan F, you actually eliminate all the liability. In other words, you can transfer all the liability. These six gaps will all go to the insurance company. You pay them a premium, and they will cover everything. Medicare pays first, and they fill in all the gaps. Now, keep in mind, not everyone can buy an F plan. You have to be born before January 1st, 1955, starting Medicare before January 1, 2020 to get an F plan. So people that are born after January 1st, 55, starting Medicare after January 1, 2022, then most of those people are getting a G plan. What the G plan does is it eliminates 5 of the 6 gaps. Remember, F eliminated all gaps. G, you're responsible for 1 gap, and that is the Medicare B deductible. This year, that's $233. So you'd be responsible for the first $233. That's once a year. After that, all the other gaps completely covered. The next plan behind that is an N plan. N plan, you have a little bit more liability. You're going to have a lower premium, and so you'll be liable on that N plan to pay the B deductible again, just like the G plan. You have to pay excess charges whenever that doctor adds to the bill. You have to pay for it fully. And then on the N plan, every time you go to the doctor, you're subject to a $20 copay. Go to the emergency room, you're subject to a $50 copay. So we have, again, some additional liability on the N plan. But the whole point is this: we have these gaps in Medicare. We buy a Medigap policy, also called a Medicare Supplemental Plan, to fill in these gaps. And that's why people get these plans, to limit their liability and to limit their out-of-pocket expenses. Hey everyone, just real quick. We're trying hard to get this content to more people just like you who are looking for honest and helpful Medicare answers. So if this video has been helpful, you can help us out by hitting the like button and subscribing. Now, you could try signing up for Medicare alone. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you want free Medicare help from a Medicare expert, check out the links in the description. We literally help thousands of people every month make Medicare decisions. All right, let's get back to the video. Now that takes us to feature number 3, the third reason why people choose supplemental plans for their Medicare coverage, and that is because in original Medicare with the supplemental plan, you have no networks. So when I go in original Medicare A and B and I add that supplemental plan, I never have to worry about networks. Now there are some Medicare plans that have networks. Those are called Advantage plans. Advantage plans are also called replacement plans or Part C plans. Okay, this kind of coverage, A and B with the supplemental plan, no networks. In fact, you can go to any doctor, any hospital, any specialist that takes original Medicare. And again, you only have to ask them, do you take original Medicare? Because if they take original Medicare, they have to take your supplemental plan of choice because you have the legal right to choose any secondary payer that you want. So again, we just have to find out, do you take Medicare? And if they do, they will take your supplemental plan because there are no networks in original Medicare. Now, the fourth reason why people choose Medicare supplemental plans, really the fourth feature why they love their plans, is because there will be no referrals required. Now again, you will see some referrals in Medicare plans, but those are Advantage plans, Part C plans. With Medicare A and B, and again, we get that supplemental plan, we never have to worry about referrals. So if you decide I want to go see my dermatologist or my cardiologist, or I want to go see an orthopedic doc, you just simply call them up and make an appointment and let them know that you're on original Medicare. We don't have to worry about referrals. So plans that require referrals are Advantage, but original Medicare A and B with a supplemental plan, you can go wherever you want as long as that provider is going to take Medicare. Now, the fifth reason why people choose Medicare supplemental plans, one of the great features of them is this: there will be no pre-authorizations. Some people call these pre-certifications. Okay, so let's talk about what a pre-authorization is. This means that your primary care doctor or a specialist has recommended or maybe ordered that you need a CAT scan or an MRI or maybe certain lab work, or you need to have a surgery, outpatient or inpatient. And so that pre-authorization means that before you can actually get that test, that procedure, that surgery, the insurance company has the final say-so. And so when it comes to A and B, again, and then we get a supplemental plan, whatever plan you get, F, G, or N, or whatever letter you get, there will be no pre-authorizations, which simply means that supplemental company has no say-so whatsoever in your healthcare services. So this means that if your doctor says that you need this and Medicare says we will cover this, then that's the end of the story. There will no be pre-authorizations required. As a matter of fact, most of the insurance companies will put on the front of their MedSup cards, no referrals or pre-authorizations required. And so you don't have to worry about it, which means the insurance company has no say-so. When you buy a Medicare supplemental plan, Medicare is going to pay first, and if Medicare does pay first, then that supplemental plan is going to follow based upon the letter that you purchased, filling in the gaps for that particular plan, and that insurance company has no say-so whatsoever in any kind of your healthcare services, all right? And so that's the beauty of a supplemental plan, no pre-authorizations whatsoever, and so no hoops that you have to jump through whatsoever. Now, the sixth reason why people choose supplemental plans, the sixth feature that people really like about them is this: there are no claims to file, on your behalf whatsoever. So what happens when we're in original Medicare A and B and we have that supplemental plan, whatever one you decide to go with, when you go to the hospital or you go to a doctor or a specialist or have some type of a service that you need, a CAT scan or lab work or something, all you're simply going to do is give them two cards, your A and B card, and you're going to give them your supplemental card. And so you receive the service, and what's going to happen is that provider is going to file the claim first with Medicare A and B, so Medicare is going to be the first payer. They pay first. They take the balance that remains, that gap in coverage, and then they're going to send that to your supplemental plan, and they are going to pay second. So depending upon what plan you have, that supplemental plan is going to pay. If you have a deductible, then they will pass that deductible on to you, and then after you've met the deductible, then they will pay 100%. Medicare pays first, supplemental plan pays after that. So very simple process. You never have to worry about any claim whatsoever. Now, the seventh feature of supplemental plans, again, a reason people purchase these and like to be covered by them, is this: these plans are written for lifetime. So any time that you get a Medicare supplemental policy, any company, any letter that you choose, it will be written for life. It's called guaranteed renewable. So there is no way that that insurance company can ever cancel that policy other than non-payment of premium. So as long as you're paying your premium, they can never cancel that policy. They can never cancel it because of age. They cannot cancel it because of location. They cannot cancel it because of claims. Why is that important? Well, I guarantee you on automobile policies, if you have a wreck and there's serious claims on that, they can cancel your auto policy. Homeowners insurance the same way. But when it comes to health insurance supplemental plans, they cannot cancel that because you have claims. Okay? So they can't cancel for any reason other than non-payment. And the way that works is most people pay through a bank draft. And so if they go in to do the bank draft and the money's not there or you close the account, you will have then 30 days of grace to bring the policy current. If you don't bring it current within 30 days of grace, then they can cancel policy. But that's the only reason they can cancel that policy. That means when I get a supplemental policy, I never have to worry about them canceling on it whatsoever. That policy truly is written for life. I don't care if you're costing them $100,000 a month. I don't care if you're 100 years old. I don't care where you live. That coverage is going to be the same because it is truly a lifetime policy, non-cancelable by the insurance company. So reason number 8 that people choose supplemental plans is the fact that they're completely portable. Completely portable. We call this the portability feature of the supplemental plan. Now, what does that mean? That means because that plan has been written for life, as we saw in the last reason, it means it's totally portable. That means that if you live, let's say, in Denver, Colorado, and you move to Dallas, Texas, you can take your supplemental plan with you. Actually, you can take it anywhere in the country because supplemental plans have nationwide coverage. So when we relocate, maybe you retire to somewhere else, you buy your supplemental plan in one state, you take it to the next place that you move to. You can take those anywhere you want because they're lifetime policies. They cannot be canceled because of relocation. So when you relocate, you're exercising the portability feature. Now, I will tell you this, the only thing that company can change when you relocate is it could change the premium because you're moving to an area where rates and medical costs are going to be higher than where you were before. And so when it happens, I've had it happen all over the country, it is usually very minimal. So you're probably not going to be shocked by any kind of a rate adjustment because you've relocated. But they cannot cancel that policy. You don't have to worry about losing it, going back through medical underwriting because they have to maintain that policy again as long as you're paying the premium. It's totally portable. And that brings us to reason number 9. The 9th feature of a supplemental plan is this. There is no initial underwriting required. No initial underwriting that's going to be required. Okay, and the reason for that is because of Medicare laws, and this applies in all 50 states. Medicare says that you have a year period where you can actually get any supplemental plan of your choice, and that year period is tied to when you start your Medicare B. So let's just say, for instance, that somebody decides to start Medicare 1/1/2023. That year period would be 6 months before they go on Medicare and 6 months after they go on Medicare. So we have 6 months before, and we have 6 months after we start our Medicare Part B. That's the key date. And during this window, there's no underwriting required whatsoever. Any plan you want, any company you choose, they have to take you. We call this guaranteed issue. Guaranteed issue. All right? Now, in 40 of the 50 states, what happens is once my guaranteed issue period is over, that's basically 6 months after I've been on Medicare Part B, if I ever want to change plans or if I want to change companies, now I have to go through underwriting. The underwriting process means we're going to ask you 25 to 30 health questions, we're going to check your medical records, we're going to check your prescriptions, and probably get a statement from your doctor. And that process is required before that company has to take you. During this period of time, this Medigap open enrollment period, this guaranteed issue, insurance companies cannot ask you any health questions. If you have any pre-existing conditions, they have to still write the policy and approve you. That's just the risk that they have to take when they do business in that state. But again, in 40 or 50 states, after that 6 months of your B date, they do not have to take you. They can require you to go through underwriting. Therefore, they have the right to deny you. Now, there are 10 states that are a little bit more lenient, and they have some periods of time where you can still switch plans or companies without having to go through underwriting. But again, that's only really just a handful of states. Those on the West Coast, a few on the East Coast, and a few in the Midwest. But the whole point is this period of time here, when you're going on Medicare B, that could be at 65, it could be later. If you retire later, we don't have to have any writing or underwriting required whatsoever. That insurance company will write that policy for you. They cannot deny your coverage during this period of time. And then number 10, on supplemental plans, you get to choose your own Part D plan, or your Part D plan called your prescription drug plan. You get to choose your own. Now, what I mean by that is you get to select the plan that's going to best suit you. And what I'm doing is comparing that to like Medicare Advantage plans that choose a drug plan and build that within their Advantage plan. When we get a supplemental plan, it doesn't work that way. We get to have what's called standalone drug plans. And the reason that's such a great feature, on supplemental plans, you're forced to take whatever plan they offer you, but with supplemental plans, you get to choose a separate plan. Sometimes we have a separate company, a totally different plan, a separate premium, all right? And so we have lots of choices. In most areas right now, we have about 15 to 20 plans, or maybe even more sometimes, to choose from. So based upon the meds you're taking and the pharmacy you want to go to get your prescriptions at, then that will determine the plan that you're going to get to select. And again, the beauty of these kind of plans is when we have a standalone drug plan, if our medications next year go up or go down, meaning we're taking more or taking less, then we can always change our drug plan anytime between October 15th through December 7th. Now, it is true that these standalone drug plans are going to have a separate premium that you're going to have to pay out of pocket. The average right now is probably $25 a month, but at least I have lots of choices, and I'm not forced to take one plan. I get to pick what I want, and then every year during Medicare open enrollment, I can switch those plans if that's necessary. All right, so those are the 10 reasons why people choose supplemental plans, really 10 features of the plans. Now, I'm going to give you a bonus. And that bonus is this. You need to know exactly how to select the right plan for you and the right company. And so what you need to understand right now, and again, I'm not partial, I don't have any favorite whatsoever, but I can tell you the majority of people today are getting that F plan, G plan, or N plan. F plan, full coverage, G plan, full coverage, except the B deductible, N plan, full coverage, except B deductible, the excess charges if and when they occur, and some copays to the doctor or the emergency room. Okay, so we have different premiums and we have different liabilities. Now, again, we write business all over the country. We can help you in any state where you are, but let me just give you a general idea for these plans. Right now, the F plans are ranging anywhere from about $175 to $200 a month. And again, this is all going to be based upon where you live, your gender, your tobacco status, how old you are. So again, variables here. I'm just trying to teach you kind of a big picture how these work. F plans, $175 to $200. G plans are going to be anywhere from about $125 to probably $150 on a monthly basis. These are premiums, okay? The N plans are going to be somewhere between about $90 to maybe $125 a month. All right, and so we're going to pay a premium. We call this initial premium. But I want you to learn in this bonus section is this. Initial premium is not the most important thing. It is important, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the premium stability of that company. And so what's happening here is these companies set their initial rates, but all companies are going to go up. Advantage plans go up. Everything's going to go up because of medical inflation. And in some states, prices will go up every year. When you're a year older, it's your birthday. That's called an age-related increase. But every state and every plan is also going to have group increases. Age increases are normally minimal. It's the group increases that you have to be aware of and what I'm trying to teach you about so you can mitigate these properly. All right, because some companies tend to take more drastic group increases more frequently and more drastically. Okay, so here's the way it works. When you get a supplemental plan, what is going on is you're going into a group. We actually call that a block of business. And so there are thousands of people in these blocks, all right? And so what's happening is this. The policyholder, you, actually is going to pay in premium on a monthly basis. Okay, so money goes in. Why is that? Because you're transferring liability to them. Based upon the plan that you buy, you're transferring a certain amount of liability to them, and you pay them a premium to take that liability. So because now they have that liability, they have money going out. And obviously, they're responsible for paying claims based upon the letter that you purchase. So money is going in the group and money is going out. So group increases occur when more money goes out than is coming in premiums. And that's going to happen. The question is how often and how drastic. And so let me just give you a quick example. Let's say that premium go in, premium claims goes out, and let's say the company 2 years into this policy you're in is losing now 5%. So we have a 5% loss. So what they're required to do in every state is they take this 5% loss and they go to the insurance commissioner in the state, normally in the state capital office. And they're going to talk to the insurance commissioner and letting them know that they've had a 5% loss and they're going to petition for a rate increase of 5%. The insurance commissioner's job is to protect the consumers that are in this group. And so they're going to make this company do certain paperwork and prove that they indeed are losing money on this particular group. And so the insurance company really protects you. If they approve that premium increase, what happens is everybody in the group goes up 5%. You could be in the group and never have a claim. You're going to go up 5%. You could be in the group and you're costing them $100,000 a year because you're being treated for cancer. Again, you're only going to go up 5%. So they never single anyone out. It's everybody in the group is going to go up the same amount. And here's my point. We know that group increases are going to occur across the board, all plans, all companies, but some raise their prices more frequently, more drastically when they have a group increase. And the reason for that is usually the size of the group. And so if I have a large block company, a large nationwide company, lots of people going on that plan, we have more premium dollars flowing in. So that if I have a lot of health problems within the group, what will happen is it's going to have impact, but it's not going to have a drastic impact. If I go with like a regional carrier or a company that has smaller blocks, what's going to happen, the impact of those hip replacements and knee replacements and cancer and all the things going on within that are going to have more of an impact. And so what we do is we assist people in getting plans. We make sure that we're aware of the size of the company, the size of the block, and what has been the history of their rate increases. Because we want to go with the companies, yes, that have a good initial premium, but also that have proven to be rate stable. And we can look back at the last 10 years to prove the stability of the company. So again, initial premium matters, but stability is going to be more important. And so we want to make sure we're going with a company that has proven to be rate stable. Quick example. Let's suppose you and I are out in the ocean and we're in a canoe. I can assure you, if we're in the ocean in a canoe, every wave that comes about, we're going to be impacted by that. We're going to feel every single wave. But if I'm in that same ocean and I'm in a cruise ship, I can hardly tell I'm on the ocean. Yeah, there'll be waves, but I don't feel the impact of that. And really, that's the way it works when we compare small groups with large groups, small blocks and large block companies. We want to be in that cruise ship. Why? Because we won't feel the great impact of those healthcare issues that are going to go on within that particular group. And yeah, they're all going to go up, but some go up more drastically and more frequently. And that's why we take the time to look at the premium stability of that company and show our clients exactly what the history of those premiums have been.